Good evening, sir. Myself Salma Farhat from Triple B section. Today I am going to tell about government regulations on solid waste management. Government regulations on solid waste management is my topic. Introduction to solid waste management regulation. Introduction to solid waste management regulations. Government regulations on solid waste management are critical for environmental protection. These regulations helps to ensure that waste is managed in a manner that minimizes harm to public health and environment. Effective regulations promote recycling, waste reduction, and sustainable practices. Government these regulations helps to ensure that waste is managed in a manner that minimizes harm to public and environment and the animals which are living on the earth. Effective regulations like recycling, reproducing, and regenerating and sustainable practices. Importance of solid waste management. Proper solid waste management is essential for urban sanitation and public health. Inadequate waste management can lead to pollution, health hazards, and environmental degradation. Regulations helps to create a systematic approach to handle to handling waste materials responsibly. Proper waste management is essential for urban sanitation, whereas in urban it is rural area people migrate to urban for their daily wages and all. They had to maintain their health and urban sanitation. Key legislation in the United States. Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. It is also known as RCRA. In the primary federal law governing solid waste management, the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation and Liability Act addresses hazardous waste cleanup. State and local governments often implement their own regulations and complement federal laws. In picture you can say the RCRA logo, where it is from dispose, store, treat, transport and generate. It is the main logo, main motto of RCRA in United States of America. Waste classification and management. Regulations typically classify waste into various categories such as municipal, hazardous, and industrial waste. Each category has specific management practices to ensure safe handling and disposal. Understanding waste classification is essential for compliance with regulations. In picture we can see the waste classification. We have to put dry waste in one dustbin and wet waste in one dustbin. On an average, 1% generates approximately 1 to 2 kg of solid waste every day. Recycling and waste reduction regulations. Many governments have enacted regulations to encourage recycling and reduce waste generation. These regulations may include mandates for recycling programs and bans on certain materials. Compliance with recycling regulations can lead to significant reductions in landfill uses. Many government uh, regulations, according to many government regulations, they encourage recycling, reusing and reducing of waste generation. Many they have implemented a lot of regulations, recycling programs and bans on plastic and single use plastic. For example, plastic and single use plastic. um, Solid, here in picture you can see the um, effective solid management, recycling, compositing, incineration and landfilling. Landfilling regulations. Landfilling operations are subjected to strict regulation to minimize environmental impacts. These regulations cover site selection, construction standards, and operational practices. Monitoring the closure requirements are also essential components of landfill regulations. Hazardous waste management. Hazardous waste management is a subject to straighten the regulations due to potential risk to human health and environment. The EPA provides guidelines for the identification, transportation, and disposal of hazardous waste. Compliance with hazardous waste regulations is critical for protecting communities and ecosystem. Enforcement of regulations. Government agencies at various levels are responsible for enforcing solid waste management regulations. Solid waste management. Violations can result in fines, penalties, or legal action against non-compliant entities. Public education and outreach are also vital to promote compliance and awareness. Future trends in solid waste management. Emerging trends in including increased focus on sustainability and circular economy principles. Technological advancements and influencing regulations related to waste tracking and management. Governments are increasingly considering climate change impacts in solid waste management policies. In picture you can see the future of waste management. The yellow color is used for metal and red for plastic, green for glass and blue for paper. Conclusion and call to action. Effective solid waste management regulations are essential for sustainable future. Stakeholders including business and customers must work together to comply with the regulations. Active participation in recycling and waste reduction initiatives will contribute to a clear environment. By participating, we have to participate in recycling and waste reduction initiates to contribute a clean environment. Thank you.